Hi everyone and welcome to Yoga for Everybody. My name is Claudia and in today's class we will be working on our balance. So today's class goes hand in hand with the class we did last week, Yoga for the Core. So it's very important to have strong core in order to be able to balance. So we'll be kind of linking the work that we did last week with some balancing postures today. So this class is suitable for beginner level students. However, if you are a complete beginner and you've never done yoga before, I would recommend you go back to lesson 1 of my beginner yoga series and work your way through the classes, and that way you'll learn all the foundation poses of our yoga practice before you come to this class, and I promise you'll feel a lot more confident doing this. If you enjoy this class, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, maybe leave me some comments about the class. And I also have a Facebook page where I post my timetables for the classes. So maybe give me a like, follow me on Facebook, connect with me on Instagram. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's class. Let's begin. We're going to begin in child's pose today, but a slightly modified child's pose. So because it's a balancing yoga practice, we're going to spend quite a lot of time balancing on our feet. So I just want to spend a couple of moments just stretching our feet out. So come onto your mat, sit back on your heels, and instead of having your toes flat on the mat, see if you can tuck the toes and sit back onto your heels and feel the stretch in your feet. If this is totally uncomfortable, see if you can just hold it for a moment and then release. Otherwise, we're going to come into a child's pose with our toes tucked. So the same principle as always, knees can be either together or slightly apart, and then just walk your fingertips forwards and lower your chest and your forehead towards the floor. Stretching through your hands, so press down with your hands into the floor and then sit down onto your heels. So try and lower your sit bones onto your heels and then press back with your heels. Feel the stretch in your feet. Let's take a couple of deep breaths here and exhale. One more time, deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Bring your knees together, sit back on your heels, and on an inhale, just lift your arms up. Stretch through the fingertips. Exhale, lower your arms by your sides. Brilliant. From here, we're going to come straight into our tabletop position. So make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. Your hips are over your knees, your shoulder width apart with your hands, hip width apart with your knees. Press into your hands, spread your weight equally between your hands, and then immediately engage the core muscle. So this is a tabletop or a modified plank. So we want to suck the navel towards the spine, engaging our core muscles, and then lengthen the tailbone towards the back of the room. So we're not arching the spine, we're not rounding the spine. The back is nice and neutral. So I think I said in last class, pretend like you're balancing something on your back that you absolutely cannot drop, a very hot cup of tea. And then we're going to come straight into our first balancing position. So keeping the back nice and straight, no tilting in the hips. On an inhale, stretch your right hand forward, left leg back. And then you will immediately notice that your core muscles really have to work to keep your back straight. If you've got the balance, see if you can start lifting your arm and your leg off the floor. Again, notice where your back and your hips, what your back and your hips are doing. Your shoulders are in one straight line. Inhale, on an exhale, slowly release. And we'll switch sides. So left hand forward, right leg back. Maybe lift. Hold and then release. Pay close attention to what your back is doing. Let's do it one more time. Right hand forward, left leg back, lift. Exhale, release. Switch sides, left hand forward, right leg back, lift. And exhale, release. One more time. Oh, I wobbled there, spilled my hot tea. Right hand forward, left leg back, lift. This time, see if you can open your arm and your leg out to the side without tilting the hips or moving your back. So still nice straight line. And then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, release. And you can do the same thing with your fingertips and your toes on the floor if you need to. Let's try it on the other side. So left hand forward, right leg back, lift if you can. And then see if you can open your arm and your leg out to the side. Ooh, very challenging. Inhale, come back. And exhale, release. Lovely. Coming back into neutral spine. Start bringing your chin towards your chest, round the spine, and feel the stretch in your back. The shoulder blades. Maybe just roll side to side. Bring your hips back a little bit. Just feel an opening in your back. And then on an exhale, do the opposite. So arch the spine and look forwards, dropping the belly down, lifting the chest and your chin forwards and up. And then come into a neutral spine. Tuck the toes under if they went there already. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, let's start lifting the hips up into our first downward facing dog. So again, make sure you're pressing equally into your hands. Stretch up through your hands into your shoulders. Lift your tailbone as high as you can. You can keep the knees bent, and then you can drop one heel down at a time, gently stretching the back of the legs. Of course, if you feel like you're quite open in your hamstrings today, you can drop both heels down on the floor. Otherwise, just keep alternating, pedaling your feet down. Your neck is nice and relaxed, so you can just release the neck and gaze in between your legs towards the back of your space. One more deep breath in. On an exhale, we're going to drop the knees down onto the floor, back into our tabletop position. Inhale, stretch the right leg back. If you can, lift. On an exhale, we're going to bend the right knee, round the spine, bring the knee into your chest. Touch the nose maybe if you can, so really squeeze it in. And then step it through in between your hands. So if you need to use your hand to gently guide your foot, you can do. Keep your distance between your legs about hip width apart. You can move the left knee back to feel a better stretch in your left hip flexor. Right knee over your right ankle. When you're ready, inhale, lift your arms up, low lunge. So our next balancing pose is going to be a twist. So take an inhale. On an exhale, bring your hands in prayer in front of your chest. Another deep breath in, and on an exhale, we're going to twist to the left, hooking the left elbow over your right knee and taking a prayer twist to the right. So a couple of variations here. You can stay here and gaze down. You can maybe try and look up to challenge your balance. Or maybe you can lift the left knee off the floor so you're in a full twist with your knee lifting and gaze up. So this will really challenge your balance. Make sure your core is engaged to support you. And focus and breathe. One more deep breath in. On an exhale, drop your left knee back down. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands back down onto the floor. Step the right leg back into tabletop. Let's see if you can squeeze your right knee into your chest first. And then back into tabletop position. And we'll do the same sequence on the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, stretch the left leg back, maybe lift. On an exhale, bring your left knee into your chest, really around the spine, knee to nose, maybe touch, and then see if you can step it through in between your hands. So again, keep your legs about hip width apart. You can bring the right knee back a bit, adjust the distance. Make sure left knee is not going over your toes, so it's above your left ankle. When you're ready, come up, low lunge. Stretch up through the fingertips. Deep breath in. On an exhale, bring your hands in prayer in front of your chest. Inhale, and on an exhale, we're going to twist to the left, hooking your right elbow over your left knee and taking a prayer twist to the left. If this is not comfortable for the wrists, you can also do the fists and bring the knuckles together and twist that way. So you can gaze down, maybe gaze up to challenge your balance a bit more. I'm wobbling here. If you want to go even further, see if you can lift your right knee off the floor, press back with your right heel and hold, prayer twist. Inhale. On an exhale, drop your right knee back down onto the mat. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, lower your hands back down onto the floor, stepping back into tabletop. So squeeze the left knee into your chest. Step back into tabletop position. Tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Deep breath in down dog. And then on an inhale, look between your hands, come onto your tiptoes, and then step your feet to the front of your mat. So to your hands. Keep your feet about hip width apart, bend your knees generously, and then just drop your chest, lower your chest over your thighs. And hang here in this ragdoll position. So you can round the spine, relax the neck, relax the head. Your hands can be on your shins or maybe fingertips to the floor. You can kind of sway side to side. Just take a couple of moments here. And then take an inhale, bring your hands onto your shins and start peeling your chest off your thighs to make a flat back and look forwards. So knees can continue to be bent, or maybe you can work in the direction of straightening the legs. So really lengthen forwards. Neck is nice and neutral. Pretend like someone's kind of pulling you forwards with a string from the crown of your head. And on an exhale, we're going to fold forwards. Try to keep your back nice and long this time. So you can just glide your hands down your shins, maybe bring your fingertips to the floor. Of course, if your hamstrings are open, you can bring your hands flat to the floor, whatever works for you today. I'm practicing in the morning, so I'm still a bit tight in my hamstrings. On an inhale, we're going to keep the back nice and long. Come all the way up to standing. Lift your arms up. On an exhale, hands by your sides. So coming to the front of your mat, we're going to come into a chair pose. So keep your feet about hip width apart. When you're ready, take an inhale, start sitting back. So bend your knees, start sitting back like you're sitting in the chair. And lift your arms up. So all the weight is in your heels. You're lengthening your tailbone towards the floor, stretching up through the fingertips. Really good stretch for the lower back. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. Deep breath in. On an exhale, you're going to lower your arms until they're parallel with the floor. So stretching your hands forwards, still in chair pose. And then you're going to start bringing the weight into your right leg, activating the glute muscles here. Inhale. On an exhale, we're going to glide the left leg back until we're in this runner's lunge and hold. So you should really feel your back muscles activating, your right glute activating. If you need to, do drop your left knee down onto the floor, but try and keep it up. And on an inhale, lift your arms up, crescent lunge. Sit a little bit deeper, feel the stretch here. On an exhale, lower your arms back so the fingertips are stretching forwards. And we're going to come back into chair pose. So take a breath in, focus, and then see if you can bring your left leg forwards, back into chair pose, lift your arms up. And then exhale, straighten the legs, come all the way up to standing. Arms by your sides. Oh, challenging here. Let me know how you found this. Give your legs a bit of a shake and we'll try the same thing on the other side. So keeping your feet hip width apart. Inhale, let's sit back, chair pose. Just take a moment here. And then lower your arms so they're parallel with the floor, stretching forwards. Start bringing your weight into your left leg, left foot, feel the left glute activating. Inhale, and then when you're ready, start moving your right leg back, 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 back until you are in this runner's lunge. Still stretching forwards, your back muscles are activating, your left glute is working. Inhale, come all the way up, crescent lunge. Deep breath. On an exhale, lower your arms back down so they're stretching forwards, and we're coming back in our chair pose. So focus here, start bringing your right leg forwards. Inhale, lift your arms up, and then come all the way up to standing. And arms by your sides. Ooh. Really felt that in my glutes, in my shoulders. Had to really focus to keep my balance. So we're working on poses that will prepare us for things like Warrior 3 in particular, and we will try it in a few moments. Okay, standing at the front of your mat, inhale, lift your arms up. On an exhale, keeping the back nice and long, fold forwards over your legs. Hands to your shins or fingertips to the floor. Inhale, let's make a flat back and look forwards, lengthen. On an exhale, hands flat to the mat so you can bend the knees and step back into a plank. Now, you can drop your knees down and hold a modified plank. Or see if you can lift the knees off the floor, even if it's just for a breath or two. We're building strength here. Press back with your heels. Make sure shoulders are over your wrists, your back is nice and long. So again, we're not dropping the hips down, we're not lifting them up. One more inhale. On an exhale, let's stretch back into downward facing dog. So to do whatever you need to in down dog, you can keep pedaling your feet down, or you can hold it with your heels towards the floor. Even if they don't reach the floor, you can carry on having the knees bent. We're going to step the right foot in between our hands. So you've got a couple of options. You can drop onto your hands and knees like we did in the previous variation and step your right leg in between your hands. Or if you want to try it from the downward facing dog, see if you can inhale, lift your right leg up. On an exhale, bend the right knee around the spine, knee to chest. Start bringing your shoulders over your wrists, squeeze the knee in, and then see if you can step it through in between your hands. So we're coming into Warrior 1. Drop the left heel down onto the floor. Toes are pointing out towards the long edge of the mat. When you're ready, inhale, lift your arms up. So try and square your hips towards the short edge of the mat as much as possible. Doesn't matter if the hips are not totally square. Inhale. On an exhale, bring your arms forwards again and start straightening the right leg. So continue stretching forwards until your back is kind of parallel with the floor. You should really feel the back muscles working. You should feel a stretch in your right hamstring as well. And then exhale, lower your arms by your sides, palms facing down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, maybe lower a little bit lower. And then inhale, come all the way up, lift your arms up. On an exhale, we're going to fold forwards into an intense side stretch. So start lowering over your right leg. Hands can be on your thighs, on your thigh, maybe to your shin. Maybe you can drop your fingertips to the mat. So wherever you are, we're trying to lengthen the spine rather than round the back. So it's better to stay up here and lengthen down rather than round the spine. You should feel a really good stretch in your right hamstring. Just work at your own level. Make sure you're not rolling on the inner edge of your left foot. So just press into the outer edge of that left foot. Feel the stretch in the right hamstring. Go as far as feels good for you. Doesn't have to be very far. And then bend the right knee, spin the left heel up, hands flat to the mat. Let's step back into a plank. So again, more than welcome to drop the knees down if you need to. Otherwise, see if you can hold full plank just for another couple of breaths. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So a quick rest and down dog, and we're going to do the same sequence on the other leg. So if you need to have a quick rest, drop down onto your hands and knees, sit in child's pose, pause the video before you do it on the other side. Otherwise, we're going to step the left foot in between the hands, so whichever variation you want. Drop down onto your hands and knees first, or inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the left knee around the spine, bring your knee to your chest, maybe touch the nose, and then step it through in between your hands. Do whatever you need to help the foot. And then drop the right heel down onto the floor. Right toes are pointing towards the long edge of the mat, about 45 degrees. If you need to adjust the distance between your legs, you can do. Left knee over your left ankle, inhale. Let's come up, warrior one. And again, try and square the hips towards the short edge of the mat if you can. On an exhale, we're going to stretch your arms forwards and straighten the left leg. Keep stretching forwards. Inhale. On an exhale, lower your arms by your sides, palms facing down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, maybe lower a little bit more. Inhale, come all the way up, lift your arms up. And on an exhale, intense side stretch, so drop your hands on your thigh. Maybe you can bring your hands onto your shin, maybe fingertips to the floor, so feel the stretch in your left hamstring. Make sure you're not rolled onto your inner edge of your right foot. See if you can start lengthening the spine instead of rounding. One more breath. And then bend the left knee, spin the right heel up, hands flat to the floor. Step back into a plank. Whichever variation of plank you want. If you've been doing it off your knees, see if you can maybe lift one knee at a time. Just work on building the strength. Maybe come into full plank just for a moment and then drop back down onto your hands and knees. You won't know if you can do it without trying, so just give it a go. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in down dog. Again, if you need a quick rest, feel free to drop down onto your hands and knees. Give your wrists a bit of a shake. Otherwise, we're going to step the right leg in between your hands one more time. So inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bring your knee into your chest, round the spine, squeeze your knee into your chest, step it through. Let's come into warrior one more time. So left heel's on the mat. Inhale, lift your arms up. On an exhale, you're going to bring your hands in prayer in front of your chest and spin your left heel up. So we're going to try a warrior three. So you're keeping your right knee bent. Start leaning forwards, bringing your weight into the right foot. Take a breath in, focus, and then see if you can start lifting the left leg, left foot up. So it could just be a couple of inches of the mat. Maybe you can start straightening the right leg and lifting the left leg until it's parallel
with the floor. Ooh, very challenging here for balance. Try looking at something that's not moving, not my cats definitely, because they're running around. And then if you've managed the warrior 3, see if you can bend the right knee and gracefully step back into warrior 1 and lift your arms up. If that didn't quite work, don't worry about it. It comes with practice. You can always hold on to something like a chair to start with. You can keep the toes on the floor and then just work gradually on lifting them off the floor. Really doesn't matter. It will come with practice, I promise. On an exhale, lower your hands back down onto the mat. Let's step back into a plank or whatever variation of plank you're working on. And then exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll do the same sequence on the other side, or we'll try the same sequence on the other side. So when you're ready, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring your left knee into your chest, round the spine, step it through in between your hands. Drop the right heel down for warrior 1. When you're ready, lift your arms up. And then bring your hands in prayer in front of your chest. Spin your right heel up. Bring the weight into your left foot, so your left leg's activating. Start bringing your weight forwards, and then see if you can lift your toes off the floor, maybe just a little bit. Maybe you can start straightening the right leg, the left leg lifting the right leg until it's parallel with the floor. So make sure your hips are not tilting to the right. Your hips should be squaring towards the short edge of the mat. Focus, so I'm really wobbling here. One more inhale, and then see if you can rebend the left knee and gracefully step back into warrior 1. Exhale, lower your hands back down onto the mat. Let's step back into one more plank, last plank I promise. And back into downward facing dog. On an inhale, look between your hands, roll onto your toes and bring your feet to the front of the mat. On an exhale, just fold forwards over your legs. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, keeping your back nice and straight. Lift your arms up. And exhale, hands by your sides. Lovely. So a couple more standing balances before we lie down on the floor. So you can stand at the front of your mat. I'm just going to turn to face you. We're going to spread the toes on the left foot and really press into your left foot, so into each 4 corners of that foot. Hands can be to your hips. On an inhale, come onto the ball of your right foot, bend the right knee, and then see if you can start lifting that right knee up. Engage the core muscles, make sure your hips are not tilting. And then see if you can lift it until your thighs parallel with the floor. Maybe lift it a little bit higher. My core muscles are really working here to support me. And then see if you can bring your right hand onto your left knee and hold. Deep breath in. On an exhale, we're going to start opening the right knee out to the side. Ooh. You can open your left arm out for balance if some people find this a bit easier. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, maybe look to the left. Christopher, leave my mat alone. On an inhale, see if you can bring your knee back to center, hands to your hips. And then exhale, release. Give your legs a bit of a shake, and we'll do the same sequence on the other side. So spread the toes on your right foot. Come onto the ball of your left foot, and then inhale, start lifting that knee up just as far as you can, maybe until your thighs parallel with the floor, maybe a bit higher. If you need to hold on to something, you can do to start with, and then experiment with taking your hand off. See if you can bring your left hand onto your left knee, take a breath in. On an exhale, open the left knee out to the side. And again, you can open the right arm out for balance. Maybe gaze to the right to challenge yourself a bit more. And then inhale, return your knee back, hand to your hip. And exhale, release. Brill. Give your legs a bit of a shake. Tree pose. So spread the toes on your left foot one more time. Spin your right toes out and then bring your right foot into your ankle. So opening the right knee out to the side. Maybe you can move it up to your calf. Try and avoid the area where your kneecap is. Maybe you can bring your foot into your thigh, your left thigh. If your foot's there in your thigh, see if you can start pushing with your foot into the thigh and with your thigh into your foot, kind of creating this energy. This will help you with the balance. You can have your hands in prayer in front of your chest, or you can bring your arms up, maybe palms together, or separate the palms into a full tree pose, whatever works for you. I'm going to have my hands in prayer in front of my chest. If you wanted to challenge your balance even more, you can maybe try closing your eyes. I don't think I will manage today, so I'll keep my eyes open. Deep breath in. And then see if you can release your right leg. Bring your right knee forwards again, lifting. And then maybe lift your arms up. And then exhale, release. Lovely. Let's try it on the other side. So spread the toes on your right foot. Hands can be to your hips to start with. Spin your left toes out. Bring your left foot into your ankle. And then just experiment here. Maybe you can bring it up onto your calf. Again, try and avoid putting pressure on your knee. Maybe you can bring it all the way up into your right thigh this time. So opening the knee out to the side. Press with your thigh into your foot and with your foot into your thigh. Hands can be wherever you want, so either in prayer in front of your chest, maybe you can bring them up, maybe you can join the palms together, maybe you just want to have a little wobble here. I'm going to have mine in prayer in front of my chest. You can close your eyes if you want to. Ooh. And then inhale, see if you can bring your left knee up, maybe lift your arms up. And exhale, release. Brilliant. Let's give the legs a bit of a shake. And we're going to come down onto the mat in our feet. And we're going to come down onto the mat to finish off with a few lying down postures. So come onto your mat, bend your knees, and then see if you can lower all the way down with control. So instead of collapsing, see if you can lower one vertebra at a time. And we're going to come into a bridge pose. So bring your feet closer to your body until they're about sort of in line with your knees. Keep them about hip width apart. Arms by your sides, palms facing down. Take an inhale and then start rolling your hips up one vertebra at a time, lifting. So make sure you're engaging your glutes and your knees are not falling out to the sides. That's quite a common mistake. So make sure your knees are still parallel to one another and go as far as feels good for the lower back and the neck. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, just lower back down onto the floor. Otherwise, we're going to hold for another couple of breaths. See if you can lift a little bit higher. And then let's lower back down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Bring the knees into your chest, rock along the spine. And then release your feet down onto the floor. So you can do the same variation of bridge pose one more time. Or if you want to start working on preparation for the wheel pose, see if you can bring your hands by your shoulders, fingertips pointing towards the front edge of the mat. So your elbows again are not falling out. Your elbows are parallel to one another, pointing towards the ceiling. Press into your hands. Press into your feet, and on an inhale, we're going to come into bridge pose one more time. Of course, if you want to try a wheel pose, you can do, but I'm not going to cover it in this class. If you know what you're doing, you're more than welcome to come into wheel. Otherwise, this is just teaching our body to prepare for it, especially our hands if you're not used to this position. So inhale, maybe lift a little bit higher. And then exhale, release, bring your knees into your chest one more time. And then open your arms out to the sides, take an inhale. On an exhale, let's drop the knees to the right. So for a final twist. If your knees don't reach the floor, it doesn't matter. If that's not comfortable, you can always pop a cushion in between your knees and the floor. Gaze towards the left. Try and keep your left shoulder on the floor if you can. Inhale, come back to center. On an exhale, drop your knees to the opposite side. Inhale, come back to center. Squeeze your knees into your chest one more time. And then bring your feet down onto the floor. Straighten the legs. We're coming into our final relaxation pose, Shavasana. So straighten the legs. Let the feet fall out. Arms by your sides, palms facing up. Maybe close your eyes. And make sure there's no tension anywhere in your body. So relax the feet, relax the legs, relax your belly. No more engaging of the core. You can let it go. Relax the back, the chest, the shoulders, the arms, your hands, your fingers, your neck, your face, your head. Everything's nice and relaxed. Just feel your body sinking into the floor. Return to the natural rhythm of your breath. And relax. Shavasana pose for as long as you've got time, a few more minutes if you can. And otherwise, thank you so much for joining the class today. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know what you think of the class as well. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.